Hello, friends. This is a bit of a different video because I don't know anything about these boots today. What we do know is they're moccasins, and they look nice. Leather looks nice. I bought these on Murakami, or no, not Murakami. Murakami's a great writer. Mercari. It's a Japanese secondhand site, but they also have it in the States. I bought these boots from someone in the States. They claim that these were Quoddy grizzly boots, but they also included Amazonas in, which is the outsole, in the description. They were kind of vague. They had a picture of an internal Quoddy insole. When they arrived, they only had a single Quoddy insole. The other one was just the lasting board. So I don't know anything about these boots. Part of me is like, well, are they not actually Quoddy? There's nothing that says anything on these boots that they're Quoddy. I reached out to Quoddy and they're like, well, we don't own the pattern, that was crazy to hear. They're like, does it say Quoddy on the boots? And I'm like, no. They're like, well, we can't verify. And then I was like, did you guys ever use these Amazonas outsoles? And they're like, they were kind of vague about it. They're like, we have done runs with them. So, if I had to guess, no one's like counterfeiting Quoddy, right? But it could just be like an innocent, like these were lying around, someone threw a pair of Quoddy insoles in them, but we don't actually know anything about them. I'm not sure. But I'm going to assume that these are like a random version, maybe from a couple years ago or 5 years ago, that are essentially Quoddy grizzly boots. They're really nice. I think I'm going to return them, and here's why. They were only $85, which is, for the most part, not a lot of money. It's not nothing, but it's not a lot of money. But, man, now I'm kind of regretting thinking I'm going to return them. I was upset that they didn't come with an insole, or that, it's just like poor sellership or whatever. I wasn't upset. That's a strong word. I was like, what's up with that? So I can return them because they were certainly not as described. I would have to add my own insole, which is fine. I've got those, but, again, they said they were Quoddy grizzly boots, and there's nothing on these boots that says that they are that. Normally Quoddies, I don't know about the grizzly boots, but my other Quoddy moccasins have these two beautiful rivets back here and a gorgeous stitch that is very, very quintessential Quoddy. They could very well be Quoddy. They could also very well not be. The pinking on the collar is really nice. The leather is beautiful. It's got lots of pull-up. It's got this really kind of interesting lining. It's a glove lining. It feels like a glove lining. I don't really like lined boots for the most part. Most of my boots are not lined, so I'm not that familiar with, like, is this a high quality lining? Is this pigskin? Is it just like, but if I had to guess, it looks okay. It feels very soft, but it's supposed to be soft. Then it's got this, what I would guess is like a deerskin collar, tongue. Very, very, very soft. Extremely soft. Almost stretchy. Which, compared to, say, my Yucatan boots that I reviewed recently, those also had a deerskin collar, but that was not stretchy. It was soft, but definitely didn't feel that cheap. Not terrible. It's just the tongue. But these boots feel delicate and rugged at the same time. Triple stitch. I've always just loved the thick waxed threads used for a true moccasin construction. Everything does say that these are a true moccasin construction, and then they would be Blake stitched on the inside to this outsole. But let's see here. You can see a little bit better. There's just a lot of unknowns, and there's something exciting. That's why I'm doing this kind of review or covering these. It's like, how do you see these boots without any name attached to it, and without any pretense? I have my own pretense. I paid $85 for them, but, I don't know anything about these. They seem to be made well. They're not the best made moccasins that I own. But they're cool. They feel like, what you would want from a boot like this, which is very, very comfortable, almost sock-like feel. Let's see if we can actually get in there. But, but it was a little not frustrating. Okay, I'm using extreme language. it was a little. I was hoping Quoddy would be able to come back and go, oh yeah, that's us. We could. That's clearly us. Enjoy them. Good luck with that. Yeah. So they've got that lining over there as well, or the glove. Not the glove. I would guess this is a deer skin. I mean, it's certainly a very stretchy now. Is this embossed or natural? What would you guess? I would go natural. But it's a very thin, this is it's almost like the flip side of a cheap suede. So, definitely not going to be much, if any, grain in there. Very, very soft. Which, could be a nice luxurious touch. Okay, now you can kind of see in there. You see that Blake stitch. Then it says 2726 in there. It's hard to see. But yeah, leather. There's a leather counter that's kind of has some extra leather that should have been trimmed. That's kind of coming down. You hit your foot on the way down there. Yeah, kind of a dainty but decent backstay, or what do you call this part? Backstay. It's a nice boot. This leather's nice. It's nice to go. I don't know anything about the tannery. I don't know anyone about it who made it, let alone the tannery. But there you go. That's what it looks like. That's not a bad pair of boots at all. The leather is actually really pretty, especially in this kind of light. The shadows. It looks like these were kind of like not worn, but I don't know, bounced around for a while. These have had a life without really having a life, and part of me feels bad and go, maybe I'll hold on to them. But I have been trying to be less of a hoarder. So even though I've only spent $85 on these, I'm sure Quoddy Grizzlies retail for $500. You could still get Quaddies for close to $150, brand new, directly from them. They have a really nice pull-on that I've been looking at. There's something about these that I go, I'm not going to actually wear these. And because I don't know anything about them, I can't really sell them. I don't want to sell them as Quoddy boots because I don't really know that. So I can't sell them. I can't, pass them along in good faith. Unless I say in the description these are most likely Quaddies, but these just feel like a headache. And, if a seller is sending you a boot with only one insole and not putting that in the description, I don't feel terrible, returning it. So that's where I'm at. The edges could, that's, that could be better, right? Like, come on. But there's a lot to like about these boots. Man, have I been going for 8 minutes about these boots I know nothing about? Oh, that's crazy. We're gonna do a little bit of a moccasin series, not a very serious series, but kind of an accidental series. In a few days or next week or however it turns out, I'm gonna cover a few Easy Moc shoes, and I'm still holding out on my favorite Easy Mocs, my Wrangly boots. I should cover those really soon because those are the coolest. But we're gonna cover some other Easy Mocs first. That are also very, very nice that I think, hopefully people will enjoy. But something about covering my favorite boots are it's almost nerve-wracking. Anyway, hope you enjoy these. If you have any guesses who made these or what these are about, if you know anything about these Amazonas outsoles, let me know. I don't love them, but it's a hard rubber, decently hard rubber, with the recessed Blake stitch in there. I don't know. These don't inspire me, but at the same time, and a topic I love bringing up is, if these were my only boots or my only shoes, would I be happy? The answer is yes. I would really enjoy these. I think they'd be beautiful. They would treat me well. There's a lot to like about these. But as a crazy collector and connoisseur and a hoarder and someone with a problem, they're not going to be in my top 10. So, let them go somewhere where they will be in someone's top 10. Anyway, yeah, if you think I'm crazy, if you think I'm wrong, let me know. Anyway, I'm definitely a little crazy for doing videos about boots and caring this much about boots, but so are you because you're watching this. All right. God bless you. I hope you have a wonderful day.